Okay, so on the survey I took with my partner, my boyfriend, um, he scored high in vocabulary, labor, and responsibility. I scored high in expression and effectiveness. I scored low, or sorry, he scored low in expression and that's it. I also scored low. Oh, I didn't score low in expression. I scored low in reappraisal. Um, and we, for the most part, agreed with this. He always disagrees when he scores low, but after we went over it, he did agree that he definitely does not express his emotions much and he suppresses a lot of his emotions. Um, and I agree with mine for the most part, I believe. So it says how context may influence scores. For him, he said that work influences his scores. He thinks, especially with scoring low, with um, expression, because he is in the army. So um, it's not generally like common, I guess, for them to express their emotions, and they're kind of he's in like a career where it's just natural for him to kind of put on a face and not be very expressive. And I feel like, for myself and me being very expressive, I think that comes a lot from being a mom. And like, I think that is something, I mean, I've always like been very in tune with my emotions, I think. And I think that like since having kids, I've realized like the importance of being able to like name your emotions and express them and talk about them. And so with teaching them those things, I think I kind of brought those things out of myself and I got very comfortable with them myself. So I think that has influenced my scores a lot. I do think the advice in the Excel file feels very accurate and very helpful at the same time. Um, how emotional skills differ across settings. So for him, again, it just goes like at his job, he's not able to express his emotions pretty much at all. And then, at home or with me, it's like I kind of feel like that kind of carries over. Like it's become like a part of him in a way, a big part of him. So I think that he definitely tries and he will express things, but like sometimes it kind of feels like I'm like pulling things out of him. Um, it's not something that he'll do usually like on his own, I guess. Um, and for me, with my job, I feel like I wouldn't say it's a situation like his where it's like, oh, I'm not able to express my emotions, but at the same time, like I do customer service, so I'm just taking calls all day, listening to other people voice their concerns and issues like that. So it's not really a place for me to like express myself, although I don't really feel like it's suppressing. I just feel like they don't have the time to. But as far as like, when I get stressed and things like that, I think that it's pretty easy for me to manage my emotions. Then home, again, I'm just very like with my kids, I'm very like vocal, um it's very easy for me to express my emotions and name them and things like that. Which habits are most helpful in the relationship? So we both agreed that like having emotional check-ins is very important, especially I think for him, for because he automatically just always asks me like how am I feeling, like okay, am I okay, things like that. And I think that maybe me doing that more will make him feel more comfortable to express things and also creating a safe place for him to feel like he can express himself and his emotions. So I think that would help a lot. and that would be a good habit. Which emotional habits are unintentionally causing problems? We really couldn't come up with one at this time. How does emotional responsibility show up or not in your daily interactions? So I'd say that, because that's something I've also been trying to work on, just having responsibility for my emotions. Um, just help like making sure that we stay on track and accountable and not blame each other as much. I think that that's how that kind of shows up, and it helps a lot with just realizing, like, when I say, instead of saying something like, oh, you make me mad, it's like, no, because nobody can really make you mad. You choose to be mad. Like, I don't know. I guess that's how I'm trying to explain it. But, like, I get mad when you do things like this. And honestly, it kind of makes me feel, it just makes me feel better by taking the accountability, and it makes me realize how much control I do have over myself and my emotions. And I think that's very important. Next. So one practical strategy from the advice column that we're going to be trying in the next 2 weeks is pausing before emotional messages, which is something I feel like I've kind of been working on, but I am going to really focus on that a lot more and just take the time to really think out things before or process my emotions, let them, you know, go their course before I do decide to address certain things. And I think that would be helpful, just to address things with a level head. What did we learn about emotional patterns? Um, for him, he learned that he does, in fact, suppress a lot of emotions. And so that did surprise him. For me, I just also learned that that how important reappraisal is, and how, like, I need to learn how to reframe certain things. What was it like to discuss emotions in a structured, not judgmental way? Honestly, I feel like it was necessary. He felt like it was, well, he did say that it was like annoying because, again, it's like he just kind of feels like he has to be like this tough guy all the time. So I think it did make him feel kind of uncomfortable, like just talking about emotions. I kind of knew that this one was going to be a tough one for him. But he did say that being listened to, and like knowing that like it was coming from like a place of, strengthening our relationship and our communication, that did feel good. And I agree, like just like having those conversations, the tough conversations, it did feel good to be heard and like to express, um like just talking about our emotions. um so yeah, we are going to apply, again, responsibility, emotional responsibility. We're going to apply expressing, and also reappraisal, because I think those are like the main things that we needed to work on according to the surveys. And again, the skill we plan to work on is the one about just checking in more and creating the safe place for each other to express our emotions. And I think that this is really important relationally and not just personally, because, obviously we all deal with emotions, and emotions do play a big fact in like how conversations go and arguments and things like that. So just having that knowledge on our emotions and, you know, waiting for the proper time when, we've calmed down or whatever the case may be, or whenever we're not like worked up about something. And also just being able to tell each other how we're feeling is very important, and not just expecting each other to know. So I think that that's why that matters a lot. So yeah, that was my going over my survey.